Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to the finale of Season 3 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory. Today we're here in Abu Dhabi for one final chance, one final shot of a good result here in Season 3. Hopefully today we can finish with a decent result and leapfrog ourselves ready for Season 4 in a bid to finally make some progress in this series. It's been an up and down road to Season 3. Like I mentioned in the Brazilian Grand Prix last time, if you missed out on that video, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, it's been an up and down season. We've had some good points, we've had some low points, and hopefully here today in Abu Dhabi can be one of the better results. I'll be honest, not a particularly big fan of this track. I know a lot of people aren't. It just doesn't really suit my driving style or this car as well at the end of the day, so we might be in for a tough one for the final round of the World Championship. But, you know, all eyes are forward, ready for Season 4. I'm really excited to be jumping into that as well in the near future as well. Obviously, if you guys missed out actually on the first round of my new F1 2020 Charles Leclerc career mode, I would highly recommend going and checking that one out as well. Bit of a different editing style to this series, so hopefully it's something that you guys do go on to enjoy nonetheless though. But getting ready though for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, one final time having a look at the grid rundown then for the start of this final race. Newly crowned World Champion Max Verstappen is on pole ahead of his teammate Pierre Gasly on the front row. Then we have got on row 2 Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc. Behind them is Hamilton and runner-up Sebastian Vettel ahead of Hülkenberg, Perez, Norris and Devon Butler. Ricciardo, Sainz, Lance Stroll, myself, Grosjean, Albon. Then we've got Kimi Räikkönen, Danny Kvyat, Antonio Giovinazzi, and then Lucas Weber rounds out the grid order there with 20 places worth of grid penalties. But yeah, we're ready for one final time then. Like I said, hopefully we can just get a strong result here today, finish the season on a high. I can confirm all the upgrades now that we have currently got on the car will be ready for Season 4. We are not going to lose any performance heading into the next season, but it's more a case of how much performance we're going to see lost by the other teams nonetheless though. But anyway, let's not focus on that. Let's focus here today. We've got one final race to try and get some points on the board. It's 5 lights here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and it is going to be lights out and away we go. They're getting off to quite a wheel spinny start. They're actually accidentally coming towards my teammate Romain Grosjean as we head back down into turn 1. They're up the inside of him. Albon though is going to go for a complete send up the inside of myself there. Somehow out of all of that, we do hold on to P14 there, so we have held on to our grid slot there as we head and towards the exit of Sector 1 there. All the AI Constantina and up as we head down in towards the first chicane there, round the outside actually of Lance Stroll. Right, able to go there, just trying to sort of find the gaps where we can as we head now out onto the back straightaway. You can see now on the back of Daniel Ricciardo here, the Australian in the Mercedes. Not the return to form he wanted to see on his return to Formula 1 this season, but you know, hopefully some progress will be made in Season 4 there as we get up the inside of him and maybe even Carlos Sainz as well as we reach the end of the back straightaway here. Might be able to get the power down a little bit earlier than the Mclaren driver there. You can see already the top 10 starting to make a little bit of a breakaway here. Sainz tries to go a bit defensive, but we do manage to make the move work up the inside. They give an almighty squeeze there, a big amount of contact between the pairs there as we head towards the end of the second back straightaway there, and I can only apologise for that one. That, I'll hold my hands up and admit, was completely my fault as we reach the end of Sector 2 there. But we have made up 3 places off the opening lap of this Grand Prix. Obviously Abu Dhabi, the only real places you can normally go for overtakes are down at those back straights, so hopefully, you know, with the power unit that we've got in the back of the car, we can try and defend from some of the attacks from behind us here. Also note, we're starting on a set of the medium compounded tyres. Now, I think pretty much all the AI ahead of us had started on the softs. I know Grosjean as well had started on the mediums just behind us here, so it was going to be intriguing to see what the strategies were looking like for everyone in this race. But it wouldn't take long though before Carlos Sainz on that set of the soft compound tyres here will be trying to have a look around the outside of us on lap 2 here. You can see trying to get the power down on the exit of the corner. They've got no DRS in effect just yet here. Obviously that'll come out in just 1 lap's time there, so we're going to try and get around the outside once again of Carlos Sainz. They're already yellow flags as Sainz tries to go back at the inside in the Mclaren, parks it on the apex and does now make the move work there. So Sainz now back up into P11 once again there, and already Alexander Albon from his dive bombs on that one I'm not too sure if he picked up damage from that is unraceable or what. But he is going to be out, and yeah, another end to another disappointing season for Toro Rosso here as we head through the final couple of corners of lap 2, though we're still holding on quite nicely to P12 at the moment. Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and yeah, already it looks like Red Bull were going to do what Red Bull have basically done for most of this series and lead a 1-2 off the grid and just run away at the start of the Grand Prix. The pace we've seen from that team, I mean, I think theoretically the Red Bull is the quickest car in F1 2019 anyway with maximum upgrades, and I think them and maybe Racing Point as well are the only teams that have had all the upgrades put on the car as well. So it's, yeah, certainly been a force to be reckoned with from the Red Bull team there. But you can see Lucas Weber did get passes down the back straightaway. However, with the DRS now, he needs to time it a bit better and go past us on this second back straight there. We were able to just get straight back past him there and straight back up into P12 of the Grand Prix here. And this might be a common theme we see from the AI, obviously able to get past us down the first back straight, and then obviously we get the switchback move and the DRS on the second there. But yeah, that Ferrari though, we shouldn't be able to fight with them for all too long in this Grand Prix. It's just going to be a case of just not quite getting the run of Weber one time around, and then I'm sure he is going to be gone forever in this race here. As you can see now, one lap later, the Ferrari still all over the back of us here. Are we able to get any sort of run on Weber? He's going to have a look to the outside once again. We're going to be pretty much even actually on the brakes there. A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the pairs there, and doing the sort of Nico Rosberg move we saw way back in 2016, just trying to get the overcut on the exit there. Back to the inside we go, and yeah, once again, just Lucas Weber, he should have learned by now what move he needs to be making in this Grand Prix. As through the final sector we head once again there, just riding the curbs nice and tightly. Make a bit of a lock-up though actually, and now we're going to get a little bit of wheel spin there, so we might have just tried to defend from Weber for all our worth, and now we might have just made a very, very easy move up the inside through Sector 3 there. Don't often see overtakes through there, but often you don't see mistakes either. So we now move ourselves back down into P13 of the Grand Prix. However, you know, 5 laps in, we've still made progress from our grid slot, and it wouldn't be much longer before the AI was starting to make their first pit stop of the day. They see quite a few drivers now coming in. We're going to move ourselves back up into the top 10 once again. They can see Hamilton in the Renault car is going to come out just in front of us as we head onto lap 9. So already a third of the way through this Grand Prix and still making okay progress at the moment here as we head down in towards Sector 2 once again. I don't think we're quite going to have the DRS on Lewis Hamilton there, but it appears the AI going on to another set of these soft compounded tyres here, so they're going to try and make the two-stop work here in this Grand Prix. And you can see one lap later, we had Lance Stroll slowly but surely closed up to the back of us there. He's going to dive into the pit lane, as well as including Devon Butler and Lando Norris, two of my British rivals in Formula 1 there. And yeah, Lando is just going to come out behind us there. Hulkenberg is going to come out just up in front, so we're now up into P8 of the Grand Prix, and if all of these guys are making two stops, this is an effective net position at this stage of the race here. So we're trying to make the one stop work. We're going to try and get these tyres to about lap 16 and then hope we can take the softs right the way through to the very end. I'm guessing the AI are going to try and do about 8 laps on each stint of softs, 8 or 9, and then go mediums to the end of the Grand Prix here. So I'm hoping this strategy works out for ourselves. However, yeah, it's going to be very, very tough to try and get the tyres towards the end of this Grand Prix there, as it wouldn't take long before, yeah, Norris, much fresher, much quicker tyres on a much quicker car. Not really much we're going to be able to do in terms of defence there. In fact, we're not even going to bother fighting it. Lando Norris straight at the inside he goes, back up into P8 of the Grand Prix for the resurgent Williams team there. And yeah, it wouldn't be long before his teammate Sergio Perez, who's on the set of the medium, so perhaps he's trying to go through to the end of the Grand Prix there. We get all kinds of loose through turn 3 and turn 4 there, and now Sergio's going to try and look around the outside as we head down into the chicane there, right for curbs through turn 5 and turn 6 there, down into the hairpin. Can we get a bit of a switchback move there? My teammate dives into the pit lane as well, but yeah, we do slot back out in P10 of the Grand Prix here. We might be even under more pressure as Devon Butler tries to get a bit of a run on us as well down the straight there, but with the DRS, Perez just going to be a sitting duck as we reach the end of the back straightaway here. It's all getting quite close at the moment between the three of us here as we head out onto the second part of the back straightaway. We've got 2 British drivers against a quintessentially British team there. Who's going to come out on top at the moment? Devon Butler is gaining in on us as we reach the end of the back straight there. He's going to go for the send up the inside there. Quite an expected move from the Mercedes man there, but he makes the move work. He now slots himself up into the points-paying positions here. And yeah, Perez now is really starting to struggle just behind us. This is not what he needs at the moment there as he tries to look around the outside in towards the triple chicane there. And he's pulled that off as if Sergio Perez has made that move work. I completely forgot that. How on earth has he done that? Where on earth has that Williams found the grip through the final couple of corners there? That is a sensational move by Sergio Perez. One of the best overtakes, I'd say, of the entire season there. That took me by surprise, in all honesty. But yeah, the Williams now back up into the points-paying positions. We've still got Weber now just behind us here. He's going to try to look up the inside into T1 there. And the AI really just putting it all on the line in this Grand Prix at the moment there. They're really just go for the moves anywhere and everywhere they can in this Grand Prix here. On to lap 13 there. You can see Sainz now in the Mclaren. He's on a fresh set of the softs as well, and locking up in towards turn 1 there. Once again, another aggressive move coming out from the AI. But yeah, we come back now down into P13 of the Grand Prix, really just starting to taper off at the moment there. And by the end of lap 15, yeah, these tyres had pretty much hit the cliff at the moment. We lost a lot of time, as you can see on the minimap, to Carlos Sainz there. Lance Stroll, his teammate, would now be all over the back of us as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of this lap. And yet it's not looking too good at the moment. This strap seemed to have worked out a little bit better in my head. However, you know, we've made it this far now. We might as well try and stick at it between now and the end of this Grand Prix here. We're going to be back down in P13. We're going to lose even more places there as Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Kvyat, and I'm guessing Kimi Raikkonen are all going to fly past us down in towards turn 1 there. And then all we've got now is HAAS last and second to last here. It's not looking at the moment like the end of the season that we would have wanted, but we need to keep at it. We need to keep plugging away and utilise this fresh set of the soft compound tyres as best as possible here, as we've got 12 laps to go now of this Grand Prix. Let's look forward rather than behind. Raikkonen just 3.5 seconds up the road. I'm sure that gap is going to fall down, hopefully very, very quickly in this race there. And yeah, wouldn't take long before we'll be back over the rear of the Finnish driver there. On to lap 18 as we head, no, sorry, the end of lap 17 even, I should say. All over the back now of Raikkonen. Grosjean 25 seconds behind. Ignore that corner cut in towards the penultimate corner of the lap there. And yeah, now all over the back of Raikkonen. He doesn't get the best run at the final corner here. We might be able to look round the outside as we head down in towards turn 1 there. You don't often see overtakes there, and we're not going to make it work this time. Raikkonen locks up though, and we do get the switchback move there through turn 3. Yeah, back now up into P15 of the Grand Prix. Next up then is Danny Kvyat here, so we are still seeing the AI pit at the moment, which is something I had forgotten about as well. So obviously we've got that in the pocket as well. We've got a little bit of time that can be found through that as well. But yeah, we're really just focusing on trying to get these tyres between now and the end of the Grand Prix, trying to keep them in a good operating window there. As end of lap 18, more drivers now going to be diving into the pit lane as well there. The Mercedes of Daniel Ricciardo dives it in, as well as the McLaren, I think, of Carlos Sainz. No, it's Lance Stroll now diving it down into the pit lane. So we're going to be back ahead of the Canadian once again there. It looks like Raikkonen might be able to get back past him as well, so hopefully the Alfa Romeo can hold up the McLaren for even just a couple of laps to give us some breathing room in the dying stages of this race. And yeah, you can see now the sun beginning to set here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit. You know, it is always quite fun having a look at that. You know, it keeps you occupied around what is, in my opinion, quite a boring track at the end of the day there. But on to lap 20 we go. 8 laps now left of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, all over the back of Danny Kvyat. Can we try and get a move out through the end of Sector 1 here? You can see just how slow the Toro Rosso is going, and it's been yet another pointless season for the Red Bull sister team there. Trying to look around the outside in towards the chicane there. Yeah, Kvyat takes far too much curb on the entry, and we're able to get round him. And now up into P12 of the Grand Prix once again. And it's looking like, unless we get a bit of a miracle here, potentially a late race safety car or something like that, P12 is going to be all we're going to be able to scrape together in this Grand Prix. And that is a best case scenario at the moment. As on to lap 25 we go now. Lance Stroll would finally close back up that gap. He navigate through those slower cars as well. And with 3 laps to go now of the Grand Prix, it looks like we could be in for quite a good battle here with the Canadian. It sort of harked back to the end of Season 2, where we had that great battle around this circuit with Carlos Sainz. They're down towards the end of the first back straight. Stroll makes the move work then. Now we need to try and get the power down on the exit to try and get the switch back on him up this second straightaway there. And yeah, the McLaren's still really, really lacking in top-end speed. They're able to get right back around the outside of Lance Stroll way before we even reach the braking zone there. So we are going to move back up into P12 of the Grand Prix. 2 laps to go now of this race, and once again Stroll was going to try and make this move work this time around. Is he going to be able to get far enough ahead of us though into the second traction zone to be able to make the move work there? We're going to really, really try and squeeze him to the inside there, and he's going to try and move around a little bit in the braking zone to defend from us as well. However, we take a bit too much curb off the exit of the chicane there. Is that going to cost us the run on Lance Stroll here with just over a lap to go of this Grand Prix? We're still gaining on him at the moment. We're going to have a look once again back to the outside there. The McLaren, though, this time tries to keep the nose up the inside. We're going to be side by side into the chicane there. Stroll, though, makes a mistake, parks it on the apex. We're going to lose a lot of front wing going into the back of his diffuser there. And now it's all going a bit pear-shaped with 1 lap to go of this Grand Prix there. Stroll might have a bit of damage on the rear end there. We've definitely got a lot of front wing damage that's going to cost us big time in towards the final lap of this Grand Prix here, trying to get the car hooked through the final couple of corners here. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very tall order now if we can defend from the McLaren driver there. Out in towards the final corner of the lap. Stroll back up the inside he goes, and back up into P12 of this race. And yeah, now this is going to make it incredibly difficult there. We have a look to the outside into T1, but yeah, we've got no rotation through the corner. Stroll moves himself back up into P12. Max Verstappen, he's already now a Formula 1 World Champion. He comes through to take home yet another race victory for Red Bull there. I think that's 8 of the last 9 or 10. I think honestly it's been a record-breaking season from Max Verstappen here, considering just where he was after about Austria, just before the midway stage of the season. The resurgence that Red Bull have had has been honestly something really only reminiscent of Red Bull back in 2013 with Sebastian Vettel's tear back then as well. You can see all the fireworks coming out now. This is why I like to run the entirety of the final lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's been a tough season for ourselves, but we focus on trying to continue and move forward. Obviously, this is still on the original patch of F1 2019, so the AI upgrade is still phenomenally difficult to try and keep up with, but we're giving it all we've got at the moment. Season 4 will be our last season here in the HAAS Road to Glory. If we win the World Championship, we win the World Championship. If we don't, we don't. At the end of the day, that's just the way the cookie crumbles here on F1 2019. That's F1 at the end of the day as well. It's a ruthless world, and we've felt, you know, this season so far very much felt like HAAS in real life, where we just didn't quite make the progress that we felt we could have made there. But down in towards the final couple of corners, though, I thank you all once again that made it this far. Final corner of Season 3 of the HAAS Road to Glory. It's not the race result we wanted, but we need to look forward to Season 4.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I think it's got to be Lucas Weber. Time and time again, he proves that he's someone who can quietly get the job done, and that's exactly what he's done today.
And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull. After a long and hard-fought season, They've built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So there we are then, the end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Season 3 has officially been completed there. Verstappen, once again, pole position, fastest lap race victory, another 26 points on the board. Fantastic job by him once again, finishing ahead of Pierre Gasly and his main title rival there of Sebastian Vettel. If I'm not mistaken, it was Hamilton in P4 there, Charles Leclerc in 5th with Bottas 6th, Weber 7th, Lando Norris comes through for P8 ahead of Devon Butler, picking up 2 points actually for Mercedes, a very good job by him. Sergio Perez rounding out the top 10 at the end of the day. Carlos Sainz in 11th ahead of Lance Stroll there. Myself in P13. We actually picked up a couple of time penalties in that Grand Prix there. The last man not to get lapped in the Grand Prix there. Danny Kvyat, Kimi Raikkonen there, Giovinazzi, Ricciardo and my teammate Romain Grosjean finished out the finishes there, with Nico Hülkenberg for Racing Point. An interesting up and down season for him, not quite where he wanted to be, I'm sure, and Alex Albon both not making it through to the end of the Grand Prix there. Max Verstappen, 399 points at the end of the day, only dropped about 140 from a theoretical maximum there, and I'm pretty certain most of those were in the first half of this season. Sebastian Vettel, though, ever the consistent man in this series, always makes good moves in terms of teams as well. He's either finished first or second in all 3 seasons of the HAAS Road to Glory that we've done so far there. Gasly comes through for P3, couldn't quite overhaul the Force India or the Racing Point in the dying stages of this series there. Hamilton, fantastic job in P4 there ahead of Hülkenberg and Weber there. Charles Leclerc in 7th, Valtteri Bottas 8th, Lando Norris in 9th, and we just hold on to finish in 10th place in the Drivers' World Championship there. Finishing in the top half once again, I will quite happily take at the end of the day. Sergio Perez, Devon Butler, Stroll, Sainz, Ricciardo, the last of the point scorers there, and then my teammate both Toro Rossos and Alfa Romeos yet to score once again there. Red Bull 700 points ahead of Racing Point, Renault, Ferrari, Williams. We come through in P6 there ahead of Mercedes, McLaren, Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo. But yeah, once again though, a big thank you to all of you that have stuck around throughout the entirety of Season 3. Hopefully Season 4 will be a bit of a resurgence of form. I will be back next time out, ready in Australia.